Before the news starts, please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Trump shut down Obama's deep state with one stroke of his pen. Barack Obama's deep state conspired to destroy Donald Trump through illegal leaks and coordinated public attacks. The president finally declared enough is enough. So President Trump shut down Obama's deep state with this one move. A deep state leader crosses the line. Former CIA Director John Brennan emerged as the most vocal critic of President Trump. Brennan, whom critics contend was the ringleader behind the deep state's Russia collusion hoax, blasted the president routinely on social media. But the former CIA director crossed the line when he tweeted that President Trump's performance in a press conference with Vladimir Putin was treasonous. Brennan wrote, "Donald Trump's press conference performance in Helsinki rises to and exceeds the threshold of high crimes and misdemeanors. It was nothing short of treasonous. Not only were Trump's comments imbecilic, he is wholly in the pocket of Putin. Republican patriots, where are you?" President Trump takes action. Senator Rand Paul pushed Trump to revoke the security clearances of rogue deep state agents like Brennan during his discussions with the president. President Trump acted on that advice and yanked Brennan's security clearance. Mr. Brennan's lying and recent conduct, characterized by increasingly frenzied commentary, is wholly inconsistent with access to the nation's most closely held secrets and facilities, the very aim of our adversaries, which is to sow division and chaos, read a White House statement announcing the decision. Brennan responds. John Brennan lashed out at the president's decision to revoke his security clearance. Brennan wrote a New York Times op-ed where he told a massive lie about there being evidence the president colluded with Russia in the 2016 election. The former CIA director falsely claimed, "While I had deep insight into Russian activities during the 2016 election, I now am aware, thanks to the reporting of an open and free press, of many more of the highly suspicious alliances of some American citizens with people affiliated with the Russian intelligence services." Mr. Trump's claims of no collusion are, in a word, hogwash. The only questions that remain are whether the collusion that took place constituted criminally liable conspiracy, whether obstruction of justice occurred to cover up any collusion or conspiracy, and how many members of Trump Incorporated attempted to defraud the government by laundering and concealing the movement of money into their pockets. A jury is about to deliberate bank and tax fraud charges against one of those people, Paul Manafort, Mr. Trump's former campaign chairman. And the campaign's former deputy chairman, Rick Gates, has pleaded guilty to financial fraud and lying to investigators. Brennan's 2017 congressional testimony undercut his lies in the New York Times. Trey Gowdy asked Brennan point blank if evidence of collusion existed. Brennan responded by claiming he did not know of any specific evidence. "I don't know whether or not such collusion, and that's your term, such collusion existed," Brennan testified. "But I know that there was a sufficient basis of information and intelligence that required further investigation by the Bureau to determine whether or not U.S. persons were actively conspiring, colluding with Russian officials." Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr fired back at Brennan in harsh terms. Burr released a statement. Director Brennan's recent statements purport to know as fact that the Trump campaign colluded with a foreign power. If Director Brennan's statement is based on intelligence he received while still leading the CIA, why didn't he include it in the intelligence community assessment released in 2017? If his statement is based on intelligence he has seen since leaving office, it constitutes an intelligence breach. If he has some other personal knowledge of or evidence of collusion, it should be disclosed to the special counsel, not the New York Times. If, however, Director Brennan's statement is purely political and based on conjecture, the president has full authority to revoke his security clearance as head of the executive branch. Do you agree with President Trump's decision to revoke John Brennan's security clearance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Facebook has greatly reduced the distribution of our stories in our readers' newsfeeds and is instead promoting mainstream media sources. When you share to your friends, however, you greatly help distribute our content. Please take a moment and consider sharing this article with your friends and family. Thank you. Thank you for watching our video. Please support us by sharing this video, so your friends can see it. Give us a thumbs up to this video and leave us a comment below with your opinion on this subject. Thank you.